when we're in the winter, I don't want to do anything because it's gray and dreary and everything's lifeless, and so I just feel like I want to be lifeless. But then when the sun comes out and it's summer, I just want to lay in the sun and like photosynthesize, and just, again, that makes me like lazy. Hey, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to it. Let's just talk for a minute. I don't want this to come off as preachy or like I'm trying to tell you to do something. I just want this to be insightful and helpful, and like, you know, a friend just giving you some advice. But I do have notes, so hopefully I can stay on track, because that's something I struggle with. Now, I was the type of person who struggled very much with starting things, getting things done that needed to be done or that I even wanted to do, and instead just sitting on the couch scrolling on my phone for hours or binge watching TV. And you know, I'm in my mid-20s now, and I just got to a point where I'm so sick and tired of that life and not getting things done that something just had to give. I had to do something. And it's April 12th today. I really started doing this the beginning of March. So it's all very fresh, all very new, but I feel very confident that this is going to keep going, and I'm not going to get back into that cycle of, you know, where I feel really motivated for a few weeks to a month, and then that just kind of dwindles and I get back into that laziness cycle, that phase of inaction. So first off, you need to realize that this is just about building a healthy and trusting relationship with yourself. You know, before, I didn't trust myself to be able to stick with anything. I thought that I would be really into something for just a short period of time, and then that interest and motivation to do that thing is just gonna fade. And like, this includes hobbies, things I do for fun, as well as housework and any other productive thing. I really feel like healthy relationships with yourself aren't as emphasized in today's society. You know, we talk all about interpersonal relationships and how to build and nurture those, but you need to have just as healthy, if not more, of a relationship with yourself than anything else. You really need to be able to trust yourself and look out for your future self and learn from your past self. So what I like to do, a little visualization, is I see my future self as a separate person, and all the things that I do in the present moment is to make her life easier. And so in doing this and in building this relationship, I've also started to change the way I word my thoughts and the things that I say about myself. Like, for example, instead of being anxious that this is all gonna end and I'm gonna lose this motivation like I usually am anxious about, I've started to reframe that thought into more of like, this is a new chapter of my life where I can really dive into this, and I'm not the same person I was in the past, and I have chosen to let go of that cycle that wasn't serving me. And I'm also thinking like, this is all about self-love. I'm doing all these things for me now. I'm living my life for me, and really trying to remember that even all those things, the dull, boring, and mundane, can be a part of this self-love process. And I'm just gonna get into the rest of what I have to say instead of going on and on about this. Okay, so after realizing this and reframing my perspective, I started doing some visualizations and planning. And I started to visualize the life I want. What do I want my life to look like? What are the things I want to accomplish? And I started looking for inspiration on social media. So I started to change what I was consuming to look more like the things that I wanted, how I wanted my life to look. I started collecting inspiration from different places. I started watching vlogs of people doing the things that I wanted to be doing, living in places I want to live, and I started a vision board. So I just went on Pinterest, found a whole bunch of images that represented the life I want and the future that I want, and I put them all in Canva and arranged them nicely, and then set them as my lock screen, home screen, my computer, wallpaper. You know, I just put it in places where I knew I would be seeing it often. Now, doing that alone really boosted my motivation, because it's like, I'm seeing it, I'm seeing that it's possible, I can do that. And so that really got me going, and that's like a great way to kind of get started. But you have to be careful, because you can get just stuck in the loop of just consuming all this stuff and fantasizing about it rather than doing something about it. So this is how I got into planning, because I didn't want to be doing that all the time, but I still wanted to do it, and I still think it's necessary. So I needed to look at how I was using my time, and I had to come up with a way of planning that worked for me, because like I've tried bullet journals and that never worked for me, because it's like you're starting from a blank piece of paper and you're creating this whole layout, and I would get tired after doing just a layout and I never filled it in or anything. I was bored of it, you know? So I found templates on an app called Notability, and I am able to just get right in and start filling things out rather than spending all my time doing the designing. So you can watch this video here to see how I plan in detail, but I do like to do like a monthly goal, a weekly goal, and then a daily goal, like 2 or 3 daily goals. And for each day I like to write out all my things to do, and then I schedule them in like 30-minute to an hour time frames, just so I can see the whole layout of my day. And when I started doing that, I realized how much time I really do have, and I'm still able to do things that give me quick dopamine, such as like scrolling through my phone or watching TV. And then I don't feel guilty about it because I've already done so many things during the day that made me feel productive. I know a lot of people say, just start, you just have to start and that's it. But that is really difficult for many people, including myself. So instead of just starting, we have to learn how to transition. Now this is gonna look different for everybody, as well as every different situation you're trying to transition into. But for example, for me, when I want to start doing housework that I really don't feel like doing, my transition is to find a podcast, a video, or a playlist that I'm going to listen to while I get housework done. So it is really great to implement fun things in the more boring things, such as housework. That also doesn't have to be listening to something. Another idea would be guess how long this thing is gonna take, and then set a timer for that amount of time and try to race the clock or see if it's gonna fit inside that time period. Something like that. Make a game out of it in some way, you know? Doing this really helps to reframe your perspective on these tasks, as well as I've heard quite a few people say like, it's not something you have to do, it's something you get to do, and you should tell yourself that. But that's kind of how I started doing it, is I get to listen to this podcast, I get to listen to my favorite music, I get to watch this video while I'm making dinner. And that kind of makes the actual task that you're doing like the second hand thing. It takes kind of a back seat and you see it more as the fun thing that you're getting to do. Now, while you're doing this and you're in your motivation phase, you are still gonna need breaks. You can't be going at things constantly. So don't try to do that. That's another thing that I would do. For example, a few years ago when I was really into making music, I would do that all day. I wouldn't remember to eat or drink. Like I think I was getting 2 cups of water a day and like 1 meal and a few snacks. So I know that's really extreme, but just remember you are gonna have to have breaks, but you need to be able to differentiate the need for a break and you just not wanting to do something. Sometimes I'll catch myself being like, you know, I really need to take it easy today. I'm just going to start my day off watching something. But then I catch myself and I'm like, this is kind of a slippery slope where I could easily just not get anything done and just end up staying on the couch. Maybe I do need a break today, but this isn't the time to do it. I should get a few things done, take a short break, and then when some major marker of time happens, for instance, like my boyfriend getting home or my son waking up, that's when I'll get back into doing things. So for you, that could be something else, like, I don't know. It could just even be the clock, you know, a certain time. You do have to be easy on yourself, especially when you're starting out. Don't come in with all these goals that you want to start implementing right away. Like I started off with just 1 or 2, and I give myself like a week to get into that, and then another week to refine it before starting maybe another goal. For example, starting up YouTube again, I took it really easy. I was like, I'm just gonna throw my phone up on a shelf while I'm getting out of the shower, because that's usually when I have a whole bunch of thoughts and I usually am talking to myself anyway. So I started with these easy videos that I barely edited, if I edited them at all. And that was like the first week. And then the second week, I actually had video ideas that I wanted to start making. So I focused on maybe 1 or 2 videos for the week. And then I just got more and more comfortable doing it and having it be a part of my life. Now, as much as this is about building that healthy relationship with yourself, it is about self-discipline, and that is a form of self-love. I've seen all the videos about that. So I always have that at the back of my mind, like when I am starting to feel a little lazy and I don't care about my future self in the moment, it's like, this is about being disciplined. This is a habit that I'm trying to build, and it takes so many days or so many weeks to build and form a habit. So I'm like, just let me get another day in, let me get another day in, let me just keep moving day by day, goal by goal. And that is discipline. That's just doing something again and again to cement it more into your being and to just grow as a person, As you're doing this, you need to make sure you take moments to be proud of yourself and give yourself rewards. Like, I remember there was a week I was going really hard doing all the things that I wanted to do, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a day off. And I did. I mean, granted, I don't work. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I take care of household things, but I am doing YouTube now, and I treat that as a job. I'm trying to do it full-time. I'm not getting paid yet, but it's gonna happen because I believe it's gonna happen, and I'm putting in the work to get it to happen. But yeah, anything can be a reward. Just make sure you're rewarding yourself, you're proud of yourself, you're doing so great. Watching this video is an accomplishment already. This is just the beginning. Let this excite you. Also, don't beat yourself up about these things. Life should be fun. It should be enjoyable. It's not serious. It's not that serious at all. We could literally do whatever we want. We are on a rock floating around in space with other rocks, and it just goes on and on and on. And we're so small. It doesn't even matter. Life is just supposed to be experienced. Okay, I just ran out of storage, so I kind of forgot what I was saying. Something existential. But yeah, have fun. Nothing's that serious. That's all I got for this video, honestly. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments down in the comment section below. I can always go even deeper on each of these things, but I ramble a lot, so I don't want this video to be too long. Let me know where you're at in this stage. It's like when we're in the winter, I don't want to do anything because it's gray and dreary and everything's lifeless, and so I just feel like I want to be lifeless. But then when the sun comes out and it's summer, I just want to lay in the sun and photosynthesize, and just, again, that makes me lazy and sleepy, so then I don't want to do anything. But yeah, real quick, I know I said I was ending this, but I actually reached that point in the cycle, I feel like, where I've already lost motivation. But by doing these things, I'm still going. I'm still chugging along, choo-choo. That's all because I have an idea of what I want my life to look like. I want to know that I can trust myself and that I'm doing everything I can for my future self to live the best life. And yeah, gosh, I really ramble a lot. I don't even know where I'm going anymore. I feel like I've just repeated things. Anyway, that's all for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Do make sure you have liked and subscribed, and also have the bell notifications on, because I post a lot in the community tab as well, and I don't want you to miss anything. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.